All right, let's dive into something a little strange, a psychological paradox that might just be running the show in your life without you even knowing it. We're talking about the fear of success.
So, let me ask you a question right off the bat. Are you afraid of failure? Come on, what's your gut reaction? I'm willing to bet it's a pretty quick and easy yes.
Of course it is. I mean, who isn't? We're scared of looking foolish, of getting rejected, of not making the cut. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. That's the loud, obvious fear. There's something else going on. Something much, much quieter.
Have you ever seen this happen? Think about it. Someone is right there, on the 1-yard line. They're about to get the promotion, launch the project, finally make the big move, and then they just stop. They pull back. Why? It's not because they can't do it. It's because of a different kind of fear. So let's dig a little deeper, past that obvious fear of failing. It's time to get acquainted with this stranger, quieter fear, because it might be the thing that's really in your way.
Here's the big idea. We think we're afraid of falling, but what if we're actually afraid of flying? Because success, it does more than just change your bank account or your job title. It changes you. It forces the world to see you differently, and maybe even scarier, it forces you to see yourself differently.
Okay, but why would that change feel so threatening?
Well, to figure that out, we have to go way back. We have to look at how our brains are wired for one thing and one thing only: survival.
This is absolutely crucial to understand. Your brain's #1 job is not to make you a CEO or a best-selling author. Its primary goal, hardwired into it for millions of years, is just to keep you alive. And in your brain's ancient operating system, alive equals stable. I mean, just think about our ancestors for a second. For thousands and thousands of years, survival was all about predictability. You stick to the known path, you eat the known berries, you stay in the known cave. Anything new, anything different, well, that could get you killed. So, out of this long history, our brain came up with a really simple rule, a little cheat sheet. Familiar equals safe. Unfamiliar equals dangerous. End of story. The problem is that ancient software doesn't know the difference between a new, dangerous predator and a new, amazing opportunity. It just sees unfamiliar and hits the panic button.
And please, hear me on this. That resistance you feel when you're about to level up, that's not a character flaw. It's not you being weak. It is a deeply rooted survival mechanism kicking in. It's you being human.
But it's not just our biology, right? There's a whole other psychological part to this, and that's the strange, hidden comfort we take in the story of who we are right now.
So why does staying put feel so, well, comfortable? Because when we don't change, nothing new is expected of us. There are no new pressures, no new responsibilities, and here's the big one: no new identity we have to learn how to live in.
We actually get really attached to these little stories we tell about ourselves. You know the ones. Oh, I'm the person who's always struggling a bit, or I'm just kind of figuring things out, or I'm the one who hasn't quite made it yet. These identities, even if they're not great, they feel safe. They feel known.
And this is where success creates a crisis. It's a story killer. It barges in and says, sorry, that all story you've been telling? We're doing a full rewrite. Suddenly, you can't be the person who struggles anymore. You have to be the person who succeeds. And that shift can feel absolutely terrifying to our sense of self. So what on earth do we do about this? How do we break the cycle? It starts by completely reframing our relationship with one single feeling. We need to understand the discomfort of growth. Let this sink in. Every single meaningful change you will ever make in your life starts with feeling uncomfortable. That shaky, uncertain, slightly scared feeling, that is not a warning sign telling you to turn back. It's the price of admission for evolution. You see this pattern literally everywhere you look. A seed has to completely break itself apart to become a tree. A muscle has to be torn by resistance to grow stronger. And our minds have to embrace the discomfort of uncertainty in order to expand. It's a universal law. So here's the most practical thing you can do starting today. Redefine what discomfort means. Stop seeing it as a red light telling you to slam on the brakes. Start seeing it as a blinking signal on your dashboard that says, hey, upgrade in progress. It means you are evolving. This brings us to our final part. Let's talk about the practical side of this, the mindset you need for the process of becoming someone new. Look, let's be realistic. You're not going to become fearless.
That's a myth. The real skill, the superpower, is learning to walk with the fear. It's learning to tolerate the discomfort of change and to take the next step anyway. It's about giving yourself permission to evolve.
And when you get right down to it, this is the question that's on the table for all of us. Are you willing to let go of that old, comfortable, familiar version of yourself? Are you willing to become a little bit of a stranger to who you used to be?
Because this is the ultimate takeaway. You are not afraid of success itself. You are simply unfamiliar with the person success requires you to become. The fear isn't about the goal. It's about being a rookie at a new identity.
That new, more capable, more successful you, that person isn't someone you have to invent out of thin air. They are already inside you. Okay, so let's start with the question. You know the one. It's the one you've probably been pushing away. And it's not because it's a hard question to answer. It's because asking it feels, well, kind of dangerous. It's dangerous to the reality you've settled into, to all those limits you've quietly drawn around yourself. So what's so risky about it? Well, it's pretty simple, really. That one question, it challenges every single thing you've decided is possible for you. And trust me, looking that question right in the eye, that's the very first step to getting a different result. Now, let's talk about your default thought pattern. Think of it like old software running in the background of your mind. You know, since you were a kid, your brain has been trained to brace for disappointment. It's a survival thing, a defense mechanism. But that same programming, it can seriously hold you back when you're trying to move forward.
And you can really see this play out in two different mindsets. On one side, you've got your default questions. Things like, what if I fail? Or what if this doesn't work out? Or what if I'm just not good enough? And look, they feel responsible, right? Like you're being realistic. But what they're actually doing is building a cage around you. And then, on the other side, you have the possibility question. Just one question that can unlock everything. And this right here is the absolute key. You start quitting early. Not because you actually failed, but because you believed you would. That internal voice convinces you to stop, to give up, way before you've even given it your all. The idea of failure did the job, not failure itself.
So this brings us to what is, for sure, the toughest part of any new journey. I call it the illusion of failure. You know this feeling. It's when you are putting in the work. I mean, you are grinding. The long hours, learning new skills, sending the emails, and you're getting crickets. Nothing. It feels like you're just spinning your wheels.
But here's the thing. That feeling, it actually has a name. It's called invisible progress. It's all that slow, uncertain, quiet growth that's happening just beneath the surface. And because you can't see it, it's so easy to mistake it for failure. This is the danger zone. This is the exact moment most people quit, without ever realizing just how close they were to a breakthrough.
So the big question is, how do you push through that? How do you fight that illusion when there are no results to cheer you on? Well, since you can't rely on the outside world for validation yet, you have to build it from the inside. And you do that by creating a practice of quiet persistence with small, daily habits.
Now, this isn't about some big, grand gesture. No loud announcements. It's a quiet, personal commitment you make to yourself. It's about showing up when you get nothing in return, believing when there's no evidence, continuing when everything is up in the air. You're just proving to yourself over and over again that you can do this, that you have what it takes to keep going.
Okay, so I want to give you something super practical now, a tool you can actually use. This is a step-by-step way for you to see your own invisible progress, so you can start to recognize that turning point when it's just around the corner.
It's a really simple 3-step process. First, name the difficult. Just pick one thing, one task that feels really hard right now. Step 2, spot the familiar. This is where you pay attention. You're looking for that exact moment when that hard thing starts to feel, well, kind of routine. Not easy maybe, but familiar. And finally, step 3, acknowledge the manageable. You have to consciously recognize, wow, I've built a new capacity here. You've taken something that felt impossible, and you've made it manageable.
And this is why that whole difficult phase is so important. It wasn't just you being stuck. It was shaping you. It was preparing you. It was building the version of you that could actually handle what's coming next. It's not a holding pattern. It's a training ground.
So, as you start to build this kind of resilience, as you learn to see your own growth, something else starts to shift. You get to redefine what working out even means. Because let's be honest, it's way more than just hitting one specific target.
Because the real meaning of working out isn't about achieving perfection. No way.
It's about becoming someone who can adapt, someone who learns. It's about becoming the kind of person who can create outcomes that not too long ago felt totally impossible.
So let's go all the way back to the beginning. Back to that one question, what if you never quit and it all works out? Think about it now. Does it feel the same? I bet it doesn't. It's probably not some far-off fantasy anymore. It feels possible, right? Like a real, genuine possibility.
And maybe that's the real shift here. The real question isn't, what if I fail? The real question is, who do I become if I don't? Because this whole journey, it isn't just about what you accomplish. It's about who you become by choosing to stick with it, day in and day out.